Welcome to Weird History Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In a world before electricity, way before the invention of credit cards and digital currencies, a fascinating piece of mechanical ingenuity was quietly revolutionizing the way people bought small goods. This wasn't happening in the early 20th century, nor was it surfacing in the bustling trade markets of the medieval era. This innovation was born in the heart of ancient Greece, in the 1st century AD. And it was the world's first known vending machine. It was not a machine for snacks, drinks, or cigarettes, as we might imagine today. This wondrous creation was designed for a purpose quite divine, serving as a vessel between the earthly and the exalted. It was a mechanism for dispensing holy water, invented by one hero of Alexandria, a luminary in the field of mechanics and mathematics. Hero was an extraordinary scholar, whose innovative mind birthed creations far ahead of their time, and this vending machine was no exception. His contraption was a marvel of engineering, involving a complex system of weights, pulleys, and simple fluid dynamics. As one dropped a coin into the machine, it fell onto a pan attached to a lever. The weight of the coin would tilt the pan, opening a valve which allowed a measured amount of holy water to flow out. Once the coin eventually slipped off, the counterweight would snap the valve shut, ready for the next faithful donor. In a society deeply intertwined with the divine, where everyday life was guided by the will of the gods, this vending machine offered a novel, efficient way to connect with the spiritual realm, ensuring the sanctity and fairness of the transaction. It was a machine of faith, a testament to the fusion of spirituality and technology, and a remarkable symbol of ancient innovation. Yet beyond its significance as a religious artifact, Hero's vending machine was also a potent symbol of social and economic change. It represented an early form of automation, a shift towards self-service and the idea of on-demand convenience. It also demonstrated a growing trust in technology to perform tasks accurately, impartially, and efficiently, hinting at the birth of a new societal norm that continues to shape our world today. That an invention of such complexity and ingenuity emerged over 2,000 years ago is indeed a testament to the boundless creativity of the human mind. The vending machine, a seemingly mundane part of our modern lives, is in fact a relic of ancient wisdom, a testament to our ancestors' remarkable understanding of mechanics, and a fascinating prelude to the mechanized world we inhabit today. So the next time you find yourself inserting a coin or a card into a vending machine, take a moment to marvel at this everyday wonder, for in its humble mechanism lies the echo of an ancient rhythm, a melody of ingenuity that began to play over 2 millennia ago in the heart of ancient Greece. A closer examination of Hero's vending machine reveals a staggering level of sophistication. The coin-operated mechanism was not simply a crude, functional device. It was a meticulously crafted machine that incorporated intricate principles of physics and engineering. The coin, once inserted into the machine, would fall onto a pan connected to a lever. This lever was delicately balanced, calibrated to the weight of a specific coin. The precision needed to design such a mechanism is a testament to the advanced understanding of weight and balance that existed in ancient Greece, suggesting a level of technical expertise that is nothing short of astonishing. The machine also incorporated a clever fail-safe system to prevent misuse or tampering. The coin would only stay on the pan long enough to dispense a set amount of holy water, after which it would tip, causing the coin to fall off and the valve to close. This ingenious mechanism ensured that the machine could not be manipulated to dispense more water than a single coin's worth, maintaining the integrity of the transaction. This commitment to fairness and honesty, even in an anonymous, unmonitored transaction, speaks volumes about the moral and ethical standards of the society that conceived it. The significance of this invention, however, extends far beyond its technical brilliance. It represents a fundamental shift in societal norms and behaviors. The vending machine offered a new way of conducting transactions, one that did not require the presence of a priest or any human intermediary. This was a radical departure from the established norms of the time, a bold step towards a more autonomous, self-service society. It presaged the birth of an entirely new paradigm, one that valued efficiency, convenience, and impartiality. Perhaps most intriguingly, the vending machine may have been the world's first recorded instance of a pay-per-use system. This was a pioneering concept that would have far-reaching implications, paving the way for modern economic models based on usage and consumption. It was a revolutionary idea, a radical rethinking of the very nature of commerce and exchange. And yet, despite its revolutionary nature, the vending machine was not met with fear or resistance. Instead, it was embraced as a practical solution to a real-world problem, a testament to the innovative spirit and progressive mindset of ancient Greek society. The vending machine was a symbol of progress, a beacon of enlightenment in a world still steeped in tradition and superstition. It was a bold proclamation of human ingenuity and a shining example of how technology can be harnessed to serve the needs of mankind. In many ways, the vending machine encapsulates the essence of ancient Greek civilization, a society known for its intellectual curiosity, its relentless quest for knowledge, and its unwavering faith in the power of human reason. It is a symbol of a society constantly pushing the boundaries of what is possible, challenging the status quo, and daring to dream of a better, more efficient world. It is a testament to the spirit of innovation that has defined human progress for millennia. As we delve deeper into the annals of history, we stumble upon a peculiar chapter that seems to defy the familiar narrative of American invincibility. It is the story of when the United States, a young but ambitious nation, set its sights on annexing the British-held territory of Canada. What unfolded was an unexpected series of events that ended with the U.S. not only failing to accomplish its goal, but also facing an embarrassing loss at the hands of Canadian militias and their British allies. This event, known as the War of 1812, was as much a test of national pride as it was a military conquest. The war, which lasted for 3 years, bore witness to some of the most startling realities of early 19th-century warfare. In the Battle of Queenston Heights, a key event of the war, American forces suffered a crushing defeat. The U.S. troops, led by Major General Stephen Van Rensselaer, were not just battling a well-entrenched British force. They were also pitted against a determined and resilient group of Canadian militias, consisting of both French and English-speaking Canadians and Indigenous allies, who were fiercely protective of their land. The most shocking element of this battle was not the defeat of the American forces, but the circumstances under which it was accomplished. The Canadian militias were outnumbered, and the British regulars were largely incapacitated. Yet they managed to rally, hold their ground, and repel the American invasion. It was a feat of endurance, bravery, and strategic acumen. In the thick of the battle, Major General Isaac Brock, a British officer admired for his leadership and courage, lost his life. His death, instead of demoralizing the forces, acted as a catalyst, inspiring the Canadian militias and British regulars to fight with renewed vigor. The American forces were forced to retreat, marking a significant turning point in the War of 1812. This defeat did not just signify a failed military campaign for the United States. It was also a blow to their national pride and an unexpected boon for Canadian unity. The victory at Queenston Heights galvanized the Canadian spirit, fostering a sense of national identity that transcended linguistic and cultural differences. The war, particularly this battle, played a crucial role in shaping the national consciousness of Canada, sowing the seeds for its future independence. The War of 1812, thus, was not merely a military conflict, but an event of profound socio-political implications. It was a war where the underdog triumphed, where the unexpected happened, and where the course of North American history took a dramatic turn. It was a testament to the resilience of the Canadian people, and a reminder that the outcomes of history are often shaped by the unpredictable forces of human courage and determination. In the grand narrative of American history, the War of 1812 stands as a humbling reminder of the time when the United States invaded Canada and lost to Canada. In the wake of the Battle of Queenston Heights, one can't help but marvel at the audacity of the United States military strategy. American forces had anticipated an easy victory, underestimating the sheer tenacity of the Canadian militias and the British regulars. The U.S. troops, bolstered by the might of their young nation, were sure that Canada would fall easily into their hands. History, however, had a different story to tell. The American invasion had been planned in great detail, with meticulous strategies and an overwhelming force. But what they hadn't accounted for was the fierce resistance they would encounter, the resilience of the Canadian forces, and the strategic brilliance of their British allies. The Americans were met with a wall of resistance that they had not anticipated, a resistance that was fueled by a burning desire to protect their land and their homes. One of the most fascinating aspects of this historical event is the role played by the Indigenous allies, particularly the Six Nations Confederacy, led by the formidable Mohawk chief John Norton. These Indigenous warriors fought alongside the British and Canadians with unparalleled courage and tactical acumen. The Indigenous allies played a pivotal role in several key battles, their intimate knowledge of the land proving invaluable. Their involvement in the war was not just about defending their land, but also a strategic move to protect their own interests, a fact that further complicates the narrative of this conflict. Equally intriguing is the fact that the United States did not learn from their defeat at Queenston Heights. Instead of reassessing their strategies, they launched multiple invasions over the course of the war, each met with staunch resistance and ending in failure. Perhaps it was a matter of pride, a refusal to accept defeat, or a complete misreading of their adversary's resolve. The failed invasions also exposed deep-seated divisions within the American forces. There was friction between the regular army and the militias, and disagreements over strategy and tactics. Meanwhile, the Canadian forces, despite their linguistic and cultural differences, were united in their cause and fought as a cohesive unit. This unity was a key factor in their ability to repel the American invasions time and again. In the annals of history, the War of 1812 stands out as an event that defied predictions. It was a war where the supposed underdog emerged victorious, where superior numbers and might were defeated by determination, strategy, and unity. It was a war that forever altered the course of North American history, a war that showed that the desire to protect one's homeland can overcome even the most daunting of odds. It is a testament to the courage of the Canadian people and a humbling chapter in American history. In the annals of the Catholic Church, there are many stories that beggar belief, but perhaps none more so than the Cadaver Synod of 897. This mind-boggling event saw the corpse of Pope Formosus, who had been dead for nearly a year, exhumed and put on trial in a spectacle of ghoulish spectacle and religious fervor. The man behind this macabre drama was Pope Stephen VI, who was Formosus's successor, twice removed. The exact reasons for Stephen's enmity towards Formosus are shrouded in the mists of political intrigue and personal animosity that swirled around the papacy during this tumultuous period in church history. However, one thing is clear. Stephen was determined to blacken Formosus's name and undo his actions as pope, even if it meant dragging his decaying corpse into a courtroom. The trial took place in the Basilica of St. John Lateran in Rome. The corpse of Formosus was dressed in papal vestments, propped up on a throne, and assigned a deacon to speak on its behalf. The sight would have been at once chilling and absurd. The body, already in an advanced state of decomposition, was unable to respond to the charges leveled against it. Stephen, acting as both accuser and judge, hurled accusations at the silent defendant. He accused Formosus of perjury, of coveting the papacy, and of violating church law by transferring from the See of Porto to that of Rome. The stench of decay filled the air as Stephen ranted and raved, his voice echoing through the hallowed halls of the basilica. The outcome of the trial was a foregone conclusion. Formosus was found guilty on all counts. His papacy was declared null and void, his acts as pope annulled, and the orders he had conferred invalidated. His body was stripped of its papal vestments, the 3 fingers he used for blessings cut off, and his remains thrown into the Tiber River. The Cadaver Synod was a shocking and bizarre episode, but its impact was not limited to its macabre spectacle. It threw the papacy into chaos, deepened the divisions within the Church, and led to a violent backlash against Stephen VI. The revulsion felt by the people of Rome towards this sacrilegious act was so great that Stephen was deposed, imprisoned, and strangled to death a few months later. The cadaver synod remains a stark reminder of the depths to which religious and political feuds can sink, a grotesque display of power, and a dark chapter in the history of the Catholic Church. It is a tale that continues to haunt, fascinate, and horrify nearly a millennium after it took place. The cadaver synod, or synodus horrenda as it would come to be known, was more than just a shocking spectacle. It was a chilling testament to the length Stephen VI was willing to go to assert his power and undermine his predecessor. It was an act of desecration that sent shockwaves through the very foundations of the Catholic Church, blurring the lines between the sacred and the profane in a manner hitherto unseen. The scene itself was surreal. The decaying corpse of Formosus, seated on a throne as though alive, faced his accuser. The hallowed Basilica of St. John Lateran was transformed into a grim tribunal, its sublime frescoes and gilded altars bearing silent witness to the macabre proceedings. The air, usually thick with the scent of incense and candle wax, was instead permeated with the stench of decay, an olfactory reminder of the morbid spectacle unfolding before the eyes of those present. The trial was not so much a legal proceeding as it was a grotesque pantomime, a farcical display of power and vengeance. Stephen VI, in his dual role of accuser and judge, conducted his inquisition with relentless fervor. His face, twisted in a grimace of self-righteous indignation, was a stark contrast to the stoic, lifeless countenance of the defendant. The charges leveled against Formosus were significant. Stephen accused him of perjury, of coveting the papacy, and of unlawfully transitioning from one bishopric to another. But the silent defendant could offer no defense, his body having long since relinquished the breath of life. In this grotesque parody of justice, the verdict was predictable. Formosus was posthumously found guilty of all charges. Upon the pronouncement of the verdict, Formosus's body was subjected to further indignities. Stripped of its papal regalia, the corpse was mutilated, the 3 fingers used for blessing severed in a symbolic gesture of finality. Then, in an act of abject desecration, the remains of the former pope were unceremoniously dumped into the Tiber River, as though the waters could wash away the memory of his papacy. But the memory of the cadaver synod would not be so easily erased. The event sent ripples of dissent and outrage throughout Rome and beyond. It was a stark reminder of the volatility of the papacy during this period, a volatility that would lead to Stephen VI's eventual downfall. His gruesome display of power had not only failed to solidify his position, but had instead spurred a violent backlash that culminated in his deposition and death. The cadaver synod was a shocking display of political and religious animosity, a grotesque spectacle that continues to reverberate through the annals of church history. It serves as a poignant reminder of the lengths to which individuals will go in the pursuit of power, and the devastating consequences that can ensue. It stands as a dark stain on the tapestry of the Catholic Church's history, a stain that time has failed to fade. The annals of history are replete with tales of exploration and discovery. Of these, one that stands out in stark, audacious relief is the tale of a Viking explorer who, it is widely believed, set foot on American soil almost 5 centuries before the celebrated voyage of Christopher Columbus. His name was Leif Erikson, a man of courage, vision, and relentless determination. Leif Erikson was born in the late 10th century to Eric the Red, another notorious Viking explorer who founded the first Norse settlements in Greenland. The saga of Leif Erikson's voyage to America, known to the Norse as Vinland, is a tale shrouded in mystery, controversy, and a fair amount of conjecture. According to the Vinland sagas, Eriksson's voyage to America was not planned. It was purportedly the result of a navigational error during a journey from Norway to Greenland. The sagas describe Vinland as a place of bountiful resources, with lush meadows, towering forests, and rivers teeming with salmon. Even more fascinating is the saga's mention of grapes growing wild, a detail that lends the land its name, Vinland, or Wineland. However, these accounts must be taken with a grain of salt. The sagas were passed down orally over generations before being written down, and details may have been altered or embellished over time. Nonetheless, They provide the only detailed accounts of Ericsson's voyage and the subsequent Norse exploration of North America. The archaeological discovery in the 1960s of a Norse settlement at L'Anse aux Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada, lends credence to the saga's accounts. The settlement's age and design are consistent with Ericsson's era, and its location at the northern tip of Newfoundland fits the saga's description of a land reached after sailing west from Greenland. This discovery challenges the widely accepted narrative that Columbus was the first European to reach America, and has sparked a re-evaluation of the historical narrative. If Ericsson indeed reached America around the year 1000 AD, it would place the Viking explorer nearly 500 years ahead of Columbus. Ericsson's tale also shatters the conventional image of Vikings as mere plunderers and invaders. It portrays them as explorers and settlers who navigated treacherous seas to reach unknown lands, establishing settlements in harsh environments thousands of miles from their homeland. The story of Leif Erikson is a testament to the indomitable spirit of exploration that has propelled humanity to venture into the unknown, to seek new lands and new opportunities, regardless of the risks and challenges that lie in wait. It is a story of audacity, resilience, and a relentless quest for discovery. Ericsson's voyage to America, whether born of error or intent, changed the course of history and left an indelible mark on our understanding of the world. His story is a stark reminder that history, like the seas Ericsson braved, is vast, intricate, and full of unexpected currents that can alter the course of events in ways that can only be appreciated in the fullness of time. The narrative of Leif Eriksson's voyage to America unfolds like an epic saga of an audacious explorer braving the unknown, navigating treacherous waters, and ultimately rewriting the history of human exploration. But the story doesn't end with Ericsson's discovery of this new land. The sagas also tell us of his encounters with the indigenous inhabitants of this newfound territory, the Skraelings, as the Norse called them. The Norse sagas describe the Skraelings as a people who traded furs and perhaps other goods with the Vikings. However, these peaceful exchanges soon gave way to hostilities. One saga recounts a chilling tale of an encounter that turned deadly when a bull belonging to the Norse settlers broke loose and ran into the Skraelings' camp, causing panic and chaos. In the ensuing skirmish, the Norsemen were vastly outnumbered and forced to retreat. This incident is a stark reminder of the inherent risks and dangers that come with exploration. The clash of cultures, the misunderstandings, the fear of the unknown. These are all elements that played a significant role in the Norse encounters with the Skraelings. Yet the sagas also highlight the Vikings' perseverance and adaptability in the face of these challenges. The archaeological evidence from L'Anse aux Meadows adds another layer to this complex tale. Not only did the Norsemen build a settlement, they also established a base for further exploration. The artifacts discovered at the site suggest that the Norse conducted iron smelting and blacksmithing, indicating that this was more than just a temporary encampment. The discovery of butternuts at the site, a tree that didn't grow in Newfoundland but further south, suggests that the Norse explorers didn't restrict their exploration to the immediate vicinity of their settlement. They ventured further into the continent, exploring areas that Columbus would only stumble upon almost 5 centuries later. The life and voyages of Leif Erikson paint a picture of a man and a culture that were far from the stereotypical image of the ruthless Viking raider. Instead, they were a people of resilience and exploration, willing to forge new paths and venture into unknown territories. Ericsson's legacy, therefore, is not just about his discovery of America before Columbus. It is about the spirit of exploration and the courage to venture into the unknown. It's about the resilience to establish settlements in unfamiliar lands and the adaptability to engage with foreign cultures. It is a testament to the ingenuity and audacity of the human spirit, and a reminder that history is not always written by those who come after, but also by those who dared to venture further into the unknown. Turning now to a captivating chapter from the annals of crime, we delve into the case of the corpse that solved its own murder. This macabre tale unfolds in 1935 in the city of London, shaking the foundations of forensic science and criminal investigation. The protagonist of this chilling narrative was a man named Thomas Edward Bartlett, a grocer. His wife, Adelaide Bartlett, was accused of murdering him by administering a lethal dose of chloroform. The case was peculiar, for there was no evidence of struggle, no signs of forced administration of poison, and Thomas was found in a peaceful sleeping posture when he breathed his last. As investigators delved deeper, they discovered a series of perplexing details. The autopsy revealed a significant amount of chloroform in Thomas's stomach, but there were no burns or injuries on his throat or mouth, common symptoms when such a potent substance is ingested. It was as though the chloroform had appeared in his stomach of its own accord, bypassing the natural path of ingestion. The plot thickened as Adelaide's peculiar relationship with Reverend George Dyson came under scrutiny. Dyson, a close family friend, had purchased the chloroform upon Adelaide's request, supposedly to put an end to Thomas's drinking habit. Yet neither Adelaide nor Dyson could explain how an amount sufficient to kill a man had ended up inside Thomas's stomach without causing any external harm. The case attracted the attention of Sir Bernard Spilsbury, a prominent forensic pathologist of the time. His scrutiny of the body led to a groundbreaking revelation. Spilsbury discovered a tiny, undigested piece of potato in Thomas's throat, lodged in such a manner that it could have created a direct passage for the chloroform from the mouth to the stomach, preventing any damage to the throat or mouth. This crucial piece of evidence, an almost invisible fragment of potato, turned the case on its head. Spilsbury's testimony suggesting Adelaide could have used this method to administer the poison had a profound influence on the jury. Yet, due to insufficient evidence linking Adelaide directly to the act, and her seemingly genuine ignorance about the lethal effects of chloroform, she was ultimately acquitted. This case, often referred to as the Pimlico poisoning mystery, has since been a subject of numerous debates, books, and documentaries. It served to highlight the importance of meticulous forensic examination in solving criminal cases, and set a precedent for future investigations. Here was a murder that would have remained an enigma had it not been for the deceased himself. The corpse, in a manner of speaking, provided the only tangible evidence that led to a plausible explanation of the crime. It was indeed the corpse that solved its own murder. This case is a testament to the dogged perseverance of forensic pathologists and the power of minute details, but it's also a chilling reminder of the macabre secrets that a lifeless body can hold. The corpse of Thomas Edwin Bartlett, silent in death, bore evidence of a method so inventive, so insidious, it could only be uncovered by the most careful and meticulous of investigations. The minuscule piece of potato, lodged in the unfortunate man's throat, was the fulcrum upon which the entire inquiry swung. It was this tiny, seemingly insignificant fragment that could have created a direct passage for the chloroform, bypassing the mouth and throat, thus avoiding the typical injuries associated with ingestion of such a potent substance. It was this piece of potato that pointed towards a potential murderer and a motive, yet simultaneously masked them behind a veil of plausible deniability. The potato in the throat, an almost invisible clue, became the linchpin in what would become a historical forensic investigation. It was this tiny piece of evidence that caused renowned pathologist Sir Bernard Spilsbury to propose a theory that shocked the courtroom and the nation. This theory suggested a calculated and cunning method of murder, one that used the victim's own body as a conduit for the fatal dose. Yet, despite the damning implications of Spilsbury's testimony, justice remained elusive. Adelaide Bartlett, the woman at the center of this morbid puzzle, walked free. The court, it seemed, was not entirely convinced of her guilt, or perhaps was swayed by the lack of concrete evidence tying her directly to the act. The delicate balance of suspicion and doubt, guilt and innocence, hung in the air, a haunting echo of the enigmatic circumstances surrounding Thomas's death. The Pimlico poisoning mystery, as it has since been termed, has etched itself into the annals of criminal history. It has served as a stark reminder that the most innocuous details can sometimes unravel the most complex mysteries. It underscores the importance of rigorous forensic examination and the role it plays in unveiling the truth. In life, Thomas Edwin Bartlett was an ordinary man, his existence largely unnoticed by the world. In death, he became the center of a mystery that shook Victorian England, a puzzle that continues to intrigue and confound to this day. His was the corpse that, in a chilling turn of irony, solved its own murder. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Weird History Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to Weird History Podcast on Spotify. Subscribe now.